we can just say right here and right now that, hey, everybody, this is essentially episode 0 of the Of Two Minds podcast, where me and Beyond over here,
That's
not
me.
and I, a damn fine cryptid, will pontificate about random shit that we are either ambivalent about or we have differing opinions on, and we just discuss.
Yes.
The thing we're going to be talking about today is the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which we're going to be playing in the background. There's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
And
We've
sure
already
we're
seen the
very
direct,
opinionated about it.
technically.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, we've already seen it, so it's not a reaction. It's more of a just analysis slash discussion of what impressed us, as well as what we think of some of the features that were introduced, what it's going to be worth. Just because there was a lot introduced today that it seemed a bit overwhelming at first. It was like, whoa, like
This is
they
an
went
hour-long technical
hard with,
presentation.
yeah, but and this all started one day because me and Connor were just kind of sitting around talking one day about certain things that just in general, like not just in terms of consoles, but just in general, we kind of started going back and forth on certain subjects, how where we had totally two different opinions on certain games or just certain things, and so we decided to give this a try, and that hence the title of Two Minds, because
Well, also
it
because
started
we have
actually.
some feelings that we have conflated about, like,
Yeah.
I feel this way strongly, and also maybe I feel a little bit less strongly about this, and these two things are ambivalent but simultaneously true.
Yes, and I know this kind of started when I started ranting about Final Fantasy. That's when it was kind of more like, because you started ranting about something, and then I just went off on a huge like tangent of it where I was like, oh my god, don't even tell me about this and that. Final
Hey, Cryptic,
Fantasy
good to see you.
this, and hey Cryptic, how we doing today?
Yeah, I think
So
that
yeah,
kind of defines like a third of our conversations in general. To
true.
just be like, yeah, we were having this
um,
conversation, but then I just went off about Final Fantasy, and we're just.
I got angry. This is what happened. I got angry.
We remembered that 9 exists, and then we're just like, oh man, the world.
You know, but so yeah, there's gonna be episode 0 as we stated. So let's get into it.
All right,
You want to count
because
us
this
down?
is jank as fuck. Countdown: 3, 2, 1. Play button. So I saw this way later than you. You woke up like as a morning person, and I had stuff to do, so I didn't see this until later.
I was watching it as I was getting ready for work, so
Yeah.
that's why I had already remembered that it was happening. So I was like, well, it made perfect sense as I was getting for work. I was just watching everything. Like, I showered so quickly to not miss anything. Hey, Valken, how we doing, man?
I may have watched this while on the treadmill after
That's
I got
fine.
back from stuff. But yeah, man, strong opener.
Can I tell you how much I love this
Concept.
Mario Kart that's going on?
So this is Mario Kart
Like,
World.
yeah.
Taking on a concept that I have, as a child, tried to force into the game, where it's like, well, if I just get off the track, I can drive around, right?
Yeah.
And they're
I
like,
kind of
hey,
love that they're
20
like,
years later,
like
young,
they're
young
embracing
Cryptid.
that. I really do like that they're just fully embracing that. They're just like, oh yeah, you can just finally leave the tracks now, as everyone does, with no remorse.
Well, I mean, you take it all the way back historically to like people doing jump cuts off of
Yeah.
OG Rainbow Road to skip half the
Oh,
track.
absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, there's a lot going on in this one, aside from new characters, which there were a couple.
And well, if you look at some of the breakdown, I love this grinding, like a little mechanic, and then the wall section, the
rail
wall
grinding.
This right here, this cow has been taking over. The internet,
I haven't
everywhere
been on social
after
media
I saw.
today, so I have no idea.
This was interesting. Like, you get to just hop in the big cart or the big truck and just ride around in it. From what I've seen, you can actually play as a lot of side characters that were never in the games before.
Like there are
Like
even
at
more.
some
And
point,
there's also customization for like costumes and other cosmetics aside from the actual cards themselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At some point, they even show off the penguins from what is it, the Cold Mountain or whatever.
I mean, so the thing that came to mind for me is, I don't know if you remember Daytona USA, the arcade machine.
Yeah, of course.
There is a mode where you're traveling across the country essentially through
what you just saw
tournament.
was Mario Kart World, launching exclusively on Nintendo
There we go.
Switch 2.
That looks better.
Now, what do you think this brand new Mario Kart game will
So
be like?
the biggest thing here with me is the elimination challenge mode, where you're running multiple sets from one side of the map to the other, and
you have to get to certain checkpoints. Yeah.
Well, you have to be in a certain rank, otherwise you get cut. Although I guess that's the biggest thing about World.
I'm not gonna lie, that world looks huge.
It's fucking crazy. The biggest thing about World is the increase in player count. It's 24 character, like
24. I love the Boo and his top hat and mustache. But yeah, 24 players is OD. Like, I thought 12 players was hectic. I can't imagine having 24 player lobbies.
You gotta imagine, like, how much more variety there's gonna be in the item usage.
In the classic Grand Prix, race through
I hope they add new items, to be honest.
Oh, they definitely are. There's like
I really do hope they add new items.
You'll also drive to the next course as part of the competition.
But the fact
I
that
love
they also have
that,
the,
like how
the
you're
free range
driving
mode.
from on the course that leads you to the next location.
Yeah,
I think that's so dope. I love that little
that's
like
sick as hell.
tidbit. It's not-
The question is whether or not that's actually going to contribute to your positioning in the next race, which I can see
sure it
being a
will.
good thing or not. Nintendo better make their online work better. Dude, okay, so that's a big part of the oncoming part.
Well, from what I was reading, they did work a lot on their back end infrastructure to bring it more up to date. As
they
opposed
straight
to
up have to, with half of the features that are being included
wasn't
in the
it?
Switch 2.
What was it like? It was like Windows 98 based before.
Oh, dude,
online.
I don't know for sure, but that sounds right.
You can also freely drive
That's
around
Mario
this
Kart is on
vast
screen.
world in free roam.
You like Mario Kart overall, but it's not enough for you to ever buy. Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, the fact that it's
we'll get to that later on, but
Yeah.
I do like that they do have this share feature with the Switch too.
So that's the biggest
Like,
thing.
they'll show it off.
The group chat
This I like here.
feature.
Drives with friends.
Oh, you're talking about
This
the,
I really like how you can just roll around with your buddies.
the free run mode.
Just roll around as in the free run mode, you can just roll around as a group.
Well, I mean, basically, I've been expecting this kind of gameplay to come to something like this since Mario Odyssey.
A brand new race
Because the
That's true.
amount, and it'll become relevant later when we get to the Donkey Kong trailer, but like they are just doing more Odyssey games, so it makes sense that they would bring that.
Isn't
to
bad.
art as
It's
well.
not a bad thing.
It's not a
I
bad thing. I'm saying
thoroughly
it's
enjoyed Odyssey.
It's solid. It's a completely different gameplay style that I don't think any of the Donkey Kong games have ever gone anywhere near.
Yeah.
Mario
all
Kart
positive.
World launches on the same day as Nintendo Switch 2. We'll share more
But
details
yeah,
in the
some of
future,
the
so we hope you're
upcoming
looking forward
stuff,
to it.
it would really surprise me if they did not
Next, we'd like to introduce
really bump up the online infrastructure behind the Switch 2's network.
They kind of have to.
There's no way in hell that half of this stuff is going to work if they didn't.
No, that's for sure.
New C button.
The C
The cut button.
Let's take a
The
look.
cut button. You hit that and a knife pops out.
The C spot. No, but like, I think now they're gonna get into the group chat.
Yeah,
feature
this is the group chat
and
feature.
The
It's essentially a built-in Discord, but just
kind of
exclusively
it's
for
limited to
Nintendo.
4 people from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But
from what they're showing off.
yeah, the interesting thing is that you have to have a decent amount of up and download bitrate, because you're not only attaching a camera accessory to your Switch, you are projecting your gameplay or background of choice alongside your camera. It's basically like dealing with.
But see, as they're showing here,
OBS.
you don't necessarily have to have.
No, you can have your
just
Zoom
share your
call
gameplay
mode like this.
Yeah, you could just share that, or from what they've shown, it's like you could just have just the gameplay shown.
And you can also, much like Zoom, have your blurred out background be like a default thing, but still have your full camera.
I'm not. That's one thing I'm questioning. How good is that mic gonna be? Is it gonna be quality, or is it gonna sound like the Xbox 360's like headset mic quality, where everything?
My closest point of reference would be it has to at least be as close to the Xbox One Connect microphone. Considering what they're trying to push with it. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that by fitting it into, like, the Kinect itself is like 4 times as thick as Switch 2, but
that's true.
The thing I do appreciate with this presentation is that they did give an accurate representation of what the game chat is going to be, where you are getting like 5 frames a second of everybody else.
That they weren't shying away from that. They're not going to try to sell you the dream that it's like, oh, it's running as smoothly as it does streaming online via this.
Like,
no, they're like, this is going to run between 5 to 10 frames.
Yeah, it's purely there to give you a general idea of what people are doing. Like, they gave an example later on where it's like, okay, we're showing our friend where we are within this Super Mario world, or the Mario Kart world free roam map, so that they have a basic idea of where to go. Like that, I can see that utility being a little more helpful. How much this makes your basic connectivity chug is going to be the real question, because they're like, even games that have come out within the last 4 or 5 months, the most recent Mario
now
Party
that's
game.
cool too, is that you can also expand the game screen of a particular person and be like, oh, you know, to try to help them out or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
I feel like that feature is going to be best utilized on a TV. I can't imagine me using that handheld.
Let's take one step back really quick and congratulate Nintendo for joining the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation, for joining the ability to have an on-console chat.
That's true.
They're 3 generations behind in making this work, so the fact that they're bringing
honestly, I hated that they had the phone app in order to do that stuff for the Switch.
So that's the other
also,
thing.
Hey Jay,
they're
how we
not
doing,
abandoning
man?
that phone app. They mentioned later on during the Zelda bit that you can use the phone app essentially as Google Maps for Hyrule
to find all the shrines and stuff.
So the fact that they're not outright abandoning the app is interesting to me, but we finally have an on-console chat like infrastructure. Yeah, we are now catching up to the Xbox 360.
Can I tell you how much I don't like the design of that camera? It just reminds me of a corporate office, like the cameras I use at work.
Like when
give me like a goofy like piranha.
It looks like the interior Nest cameras.
Yeah,
but
like give me a goofy design of a camera. Like that's what I would have loved. Like that would have sold me for sure.
I'm sure
the thing
they'll
is,
have like
and
covers
again,
for it.
I know the camera isn't necessary. Obviously, like the camera is just an added feature. Like I can't imagine that that's gonna be that necessary.
No, but I mean there will be some things. The one in particular that I can think of will come up later with the Mario Party update. Because there are a couple of game modes that are going to utilize the camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean the camera's super optional. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like $80 because it's essentially a high-end webcam.
I think they said the camera's $50. They showed some of the prices for a lot of this stuff.
Dude, with where they're pushing some prices, I would not be just surprised if things are just going to be more expensive across the board. But if it's $50, that's cool. Fine with that. Not gonna buy it, but you know,
the camera you saw in the trailer is the Nintendo Switch 2
it's fine. I don't need some pizzazz. Incoming long message. Don't worry about it, Cryptic.
Sorry, no. You're good. This is kind of we kind of love this.
Yeah.
However,
because we're just here to have a conversation about this shit.
Yeah.
So kudos to them for adding this, but my biggest what the fuck moment is who actually are going to use this. Like, sure, the new hardware is going to allow more third-party games like Elden Ring, etc. But like, I doubt anyone's going to have only a Switch. And even with the boosted hardware, anyone wouldn't even give a shit to play those games on the Switch when other platforms exist and are just better. So I feel like there's this ideal that Nintendo has where they understand that they are not competing with the other consoles. They are their own market. They own their marketplace. And they have their entire market that is going to come for them for their exclusives. So something I mentioned, I don't know if it got edited out in the article that I wrote earlier, but one thing that I mentioned is that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to launch with more exclusives than the true exclusives only available on that console than what the PS5 has now after fucking 4 years.
Game console feature share stuff, I love this.
Dude, this is the return of DS download play. We're living in 2008 again.
Like, game share is going to be great. But touching back on your point, Cryptid, I can already tell you, I know there will be an audience because I know there are people who don't have Discord. There's probably going to be parents when they want their kids to play with their friends online and they can monitor each other that way and they want to see each other while they're playing. There's that market too. Plus, it also lets parents see who they're playing with online, you know? Just in case parents aren't aware of who all your kids' friends are. There's going to be a market, and that's the thing. Nintendo knows that they have.
To touch on that point, PS5 only having Demon's Souls Remake, and that was it in terms of exclusives. That's not necessarily true. Returnal came out and was originally a console exclusive on PS5, but the problem is that PS5 keeps porting all of their exclusives to PC. So why would you deal with paying for an online infrastructure that sucks, like PlayStation Plus, that costs $160 a year if you're paying for the top tier, when you could just buy a PC or buy the game on PC, have it run better, and not have to pay for online. I did a countdown. I think to date, if we're not including VR games and we're including games that are only exclusive to the PlayStation 5 console, there are less than 15 for the entire console generation that are exclusively still available on PlayStation 5 that aren't just like bloatware games that are on the PlayStation Store.
The all-new Joy-Con 2
it's nuts.
The
thing that Nintendo has is a guaranteed install base, because not only are you dealing... So the fact that they... getting back to what's on screen, the fact that they showed the back-end buttons, how there is an actual physical lock to the magnet, really reassures me, because I originally thought that these things were going to snap off like no tomorrow.
No, they had to have had some blocking mechanism. Also, the buttons being bigger, the joystick being bigger, I'm like, okay, this is... They've now learned, they're like, okay, there are people who have had problems with the original Joy-Cons.
Oh yeah, no,
this mouse feature is...
the mouse feature is crazy.
I don't know where I'm at with that.
I don't.
It's like, that's a feature I feel I never want to use.
I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Super Best Friends podcast, but there was a bit a while ago where Wooly was talking about how he had this combination for playing FPS games where he wanted the mouse aiming, but he wanted analog movement. So he used the left half of the controller and then had his mouse simultaneously going. There's actually a couple of accessories that give you that setup.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to be possible here. I don't know how practical it is. I don't know about that.
I do like this 3D audio feature that they're actually trying to implement.
Well,
like,
they're trying
I want to see how they utilize it.
They're trying to put more than a 2.1 micro soundbar into the actual console itself.
In my opinion, that is not a problem. No game should be exclusive 100%. Totally okay with timed exclusive, but not always the only on insert console name. Yeah. So, especially in this day and age. At the same time, I understand why it's good to have those.
I'm a big anti-capitalist, so do I agree with you in concept that no thing should be exclusive? Yeah, but also these companies are separate. They're not. You do not want a hyper-conglomerate, and the only thing that's going to sell their hardware is exclusive software. Or software that just runs better on their hardware.
Yeah.
But you also have to take into account the cost of services, and at this point, it's getting a little nuts. So this is
the bigger storage here.
What this makes me think is that the install base for games is going to shoot up to like astronomical proportions. The fact that they're also
they're gonna be a lot bigger than the Switch.
So the thing that's important that they don't mention until after this is that they're dropping support for SDXC it's SDXC. Regular micro SD cards. Exclusively Express supported for Nintendo Switch 2,
which again
is fine.
Is the right move.
It is the
because Express
move.
Does load faster. Like
but my concern is going to
be is way better performing than
the concern is going to be for all the people who go in and say this is a Nintendo branded SD card. Why do you mean it doesn't work on my Switch? For all the SD cards that have been sitting on shelves for years, that were made for Switch 1, but are just SD.
That's why. But you already know they're going to specifically start saying like this one's specifically for Switch.
Yeah.
These are the ones for Switch 2, and there's gonna be a clear difference.
So the other things since we have the Joy-Cons on screen, I appreciate the fact that the analog sticks are larger. I do also like the fact that the SR and SL buttons are not only wider but made of metal, so that they don't like fall in on themselves.
Yeah, oh, that's for sure.
We redesigned the system from the ground up.
This fan built into the dock.
Dude, the fact
I don't
that
know
there
why
is
when
a
I
fan in there
when I
is
saw
great.
that, I was like, right, why didn't they do that with the original Switch? Like that shit used to overheat, and I could hear it going off.
So not only did it overheat, the original Switch would overheat to such a degree that the console itself would warp so badly that it would lose its ability to make contact with all of its charging pins.
Jesus. Okay, this tech demo thing, cool, but I'm not paying for it.
No, I don't think they're gonna make you pay for it. It's way too like tutorially.
They actively say at the end of this, it's a paid feature.
Oh well, fuck that then.
Yeah, watch it towards the end.
See that's what I meant when I was watching this on the treadmill, so I was only paying
for ones
so
that
much
have
attention.
a unique gimmick, which the Switch has for a time until handheld PCs came. Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of different handheld PCs now that.
Dog, I have a Steam Deck. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot for me to buy anything other than the Steam Deck, and there's some things that are pushing me.
Yeah. Which they don't announce the price here, but yeah, the price
says the biggest thing for me is that I'm 50-50 on the price. On one hand, I'm totally for paying 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 bucks for a game, but at the same time, on the other hand, I only think certain games should be that high, like games like Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, etc.
You can adjust the position of the golf club and
I mean,
it's 450. It's 450 for just the console.
So the fact
is that 500
there
for
are
the
games
digital
that are
version
announced.
of Mario Kart, and then after that they have said it's $80 for digital games, $90 for physical.
Fuck that.
And I'm pretty sure it has to do with a lot of the stuff that's going on currently in our country with these new tariffs being implemented. That they've had to raise those prices.
Yeah, God. That's probably a contributing factor, but the fact that the price of games is increasing that much.
See, look, right there. Available same day as Switch 2 as a paid digital-only game. That tech demo is paid.
That's stupid.
More information regarding Nintendo Switch 2.
The craziest thing is the last time that there was something that was like a tech demo that was worth playing, it was in Nintendo Land, and it did come for free with the Wii U.
It's the same shape as Nintendo Switch game cards, but it's now red.
It's worth
tried that. I didn't have a Wii U, that's why.
Well,
I've yet to get a Steam Deck, but since I don't go out often these days, it's hard to justify. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, see here they're talking about the micro SD Express cards.
Yeah.
They're a different type of SD.
So I wonder what the cap
I've seen it. That SanDisk one, that I looked them up earlier today. SanDisk micro SD Expresses, that 256 goes for $60. The 1 terabyte goes for $200. And now I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, but obviously it's because they're newer. They're much faster than regular micro SDs, which means their loading speeds are a hell of a lot quicker. But at the same time, it's just like, do I do I get a console that's already $500, then spend another $200 for essentially the extra hard drive space?
Well,
like, is it worth
is
it?
it
Like, and then you have to
extra
see
hard
how
drive
big
space, or is it a functional amount of hard drive space?
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, how big are on average are these games going to be?
Because the reason that they could get away with 32 gigabytes is that like Mario Odyssey was like 13 gigs before all the patches and extra DLC. How big are games going to be on the two? Because they're obviously going to be bumping up from like 15.
I'm assuming Elden Ring. There's no way it's going to be smaller than like 40.
I don't know, man. That tarnished edition looked real crunchy.
But I'm just saying, like, I have a strong feeling it's not going to be small. Like, it has to be at least 40 gigs.
I would guess 60.
Also, June 5th, 2025. Holy crap! I was stunned by that drop release date because I was like, "Oh, you guys were already ready to drop this."
It's
like
next fiscal quarter.
Oh yeah,
on the line.
But they were like, we already had this ready. We were just waiting to just announce this.
Well, I'm gonna be real with you, man. Fucking the Switch 2 hardware has been basically ready for the last year and a half.
I'm shocked they didn't wait for the winter, like to do it like a winter release or like the holidays.
So because of the core demographic for Nintendo being the the fucking 7 to 14.
The Jamboree TV.
I can see like the summer rush being a big push for.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, kids are out of school. Interestingly enough, they have a Japan-only version of the Switch 2 for cheaper than the multi-link. Well, yeah, that's for sure. Like, that is obvious. They tend to do stuff like that all the time. I'm convinced that the trailers they've shown for a lot of third-party games are unoptimized. More than likely.
Probably. Nintendo's going to care the most about their first-party software looking the best, and they have the most time with the hardware.
I mean, like, let's face it. Let's compare this and the Mario Kart trailer, opposed to when they start showing the third-party stuff. This one and Mario Kart, absolutely crisp, absolutely beautiful.
You'll be able to see each other's faces.
Release it early to give people time to see it in action, so people can make informed decisions for winter.
Give it 5 months so that the scalpers can all die out in the winter cold, and then there'll be switches on.
You already
know
they're gonna try to prevent scalpers.
It's not even a matter of trying, dude. It's just like the market doesn't exist in a point where we can prevent scalping anymore. They're insane. People are stealing stuff out of boxcars.
It's really up to the companies to try to put a limit. Like how many are like being checked out from like a certain. And again, that involves like a lot of infrastructure on the back end.
Next month, I haven't gotten a ticket for it. Yeah, Valky, me and Beyond both tried to get tickets. We neither of us.
Oh right, yeah. I definitely.
I guess they saw that my Nintendo online subscription lapsed, so they're like, "We don't care about your opinion." Cryptid.
Oh yeah.
A mini game will begin.
I would be down to go for the online thing.
2 players each control an arm.
Oh yeah.
If for no other reason than I am technically pressed.
Enjoy the thrill.
But even us talking about this now makes us technically pressed. Journalism, what integrity? Who cares? No, but there's a lot. There's a lot about even so I don't know how much they've mentioned it so far. The games that have the upgraded Switch 2 edition, the extra features that are going to be stapled onto everything that use the Switch 2 exclusive hardware stuff. Like, I want to know price points on, like, I own a physical copy of Tears of the Kingdom. How much money am I gonna have to pay to play it properly on my fucking Switch 2?
Well, here's the other thing. You probably didn't read into like all the stuff that was announced after, like, because so they do mention there's the extra packs that you can pay for. What they didn't show during this live or during the direct, all these details and features that came out after with price points and stuff like that. If you have the Nintendo Online service, the yearly service, it's already included with those.
Well, it looks like I'll have to re-up my sub.
So I was sitting there, I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna play Mario Kart already online, and I plan on playing some of these other games online, it makes sense to just get that, and you already get the Zelda upgrade.
With what we have on screen, there's one point I want to make about Zelda, and there's a trailer later that feels like an apology to me. An entire game coming out that feels like an apology, and it's that fucking Hyrule Warriors sequel game. So when the Switch 2 was supposed to launch, there's a series of games that came out during 2022 that feel like they were not made for the Switch 1 hardware and run like shit. And the first most notable one was Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. That game runs at 14 frames a second on the Switch 1.
It ran terribly.
And crashes actively. Like the fucking the console is not made. It's not made for that console.
Oh yeah, I'm sure people by the time PAX comes around.
If when I have this game, I look forward to playing 2 generations of Hyrule Warriors games.
I would love to replay the Kingdom, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild again with that patch upgrade, the way it was intended to be played.
So my biggest question is going to be, for the games that are getting a Switch 2 upgrade, how much
to go on a murderous scalper killing rampage? Jesus Christ.
I wasn't going to draw attention to it, but you're not wrong.
For legal reasons, for legal purposes, is a joke.
For legal reasons, I cannot acknowledge how correct you are in that.
If it goes higher, if it goes way higher than the cross-gen upgrades on PS5 games, then nah. At most, I don't think they're gonna push the point that much.
The question is gonna be, does this thing run? Does this thing fucking run the way it's supposed to?
Anywhere between $10 to $20. Anything more than $20, you're just.
Here's my other bit.
You're asking for a
Metroid
lot.
Prime 4. Hey, you know what was what was a launch title announcement for the Switch 1? It's this fucking game. Which is why it's coming out on both.
And it was supposed to work. I mean, it was under development under another company.
Yeah, it was. What was it? Bandai Namco they had working on it. They scrapped the entire project because it sucked.
Yeah. Seeing Zelda at that level running at 60 FPS is wild to me. Yeah, that's what the Yuzu emulator was doing.
So yeah, I didn't want to bring it up till later, but like the way that games are supposed to run on the Switch 2 that came out in 2023 and afterward can be emulated through Yuzu on a Steam Deck.
Yeah,
at least they could before they killed that thing.
Like, I want to get Pokemon, but at the same time,
I don't care enough about Zygarde, but who knows?
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I know they've also said with the upgrade pack for Pokemon C to A, there were details that they're also doing the free upgrade packs with Scarlet and Violet for the performance as well.
Well, I mean, okay, so that was the question I was trying to get out, is that functionally, where is the line drawn for games that have an upgrade pack where the difference between this hardware has more processing power and thus runs this game better versus we are locking in functionality of a game behind whether or not you pay for an additional DLC content patch, essentially.
To me, honestly, I mean, even as like a regular, like average person, I would say just get the year online and just have them all included rather than paying for them individually.
I know, I'm not saying like in the practical sense of like I'm not going to pay for this, give me a console that can run these games, but my question really is like, at what point do we lock functionality behind a fucking paywall?
Oh, behind that paywall?
Because if I have Tears of the Kingdom, if I choose not to get the upgrade pack, regardless of whether or not I'm paying for online, but let's say I don't have that, how much better is that game going to run just because the Switch 2 has a better processor?
Yeah.
Is it going to be limited because I did not pay them money? Like, that's the insidious shit that I would, in a different circumstance, I would think would be a problem.
I know they did mention that they're like, if you don't get the upgrade packs, it's going to play exactly the same way it did on the Switch.
Also, Valky, and the Switch Online sub price has already risen. It's $60 a year. It used to be 20.
I mean, well, it was 20 for just the regular, but it went up to 50 when they included all the extra.
The Plus expansion pass for
like the Plus
DLC you couldn't buy for
No.
Mario Kart.
I'm talking about the plus expansions for because they included the 64 and all the other consoles.
So we haven't gotten to it, but it's the biggest thing for me. The fact that they finally have brought forward the GameCube emulation.
Yeah.
With the online on this.
When we get there, I'm gonna lose my stuff because that was like my favorite
game
part.
is on there. Hey, look at how chonk this fucking thing is. Like, actually look at armor detail. It's kind of crazy.
This looks nuts.
The tarnished edition is correct.
It's just like PS5 and Series X. The actual PS5 version of a game always
looks
works
like
better
Elden
than
Ring running on a PS3, dog.
Yeah.
It's so chunky.
Like, you could just see it's not, like, clean.
Yeah, but the fact that it's running above 20 frames a second is impressive.
Also true.
It is
I mean,
tarnished.
that's like in the literal sense, that is tarnished.
Oh, it's so good.
Hey, I'm Greg Casale.
Hey, look, it's that game that's gonna be good, and it's gonna be good on the Switch. And I've already put 120 hours into it on a fucking Steam Deck, so I know that it works well portable.
Sinister titan of time. You'll battle beyond the underworld to the ends of the earth.
Also a smart move to put this on the Switch.
Well, they're saying that by the time it comes
It
out
releases,
for Switch,
it'll
it's
be
going to be
1.0.
1.0.
Hades and 82.
I need to start
yeah.
playing Hades
They're
2 again.
absolutely amazing. They're absolutely amazing game.
Finish Hades 2.
So
Good. It's very good.
No, I think he says
or
he hasn't
finish
finished
Hades. Finish Hades and then play Hades 2 because they're both very
Street
good.
Fighter, I'm also weary of how it's gonna run.
It's dude, it's gonna run as badly as the Switch One Street Fighter because their online infrastructure is not gonna improve that much.
That's why I was like, if you're gonna try to play online with this game, woof.
So,
however,
I do like the fact that
amiibos-
Luke, Jamie, and Kimberly are getting each getting an amiibo. That's
yeah.
My
Because they're the new trio.
So the one thing that I the additional thing that I have a problem with is
I
don't
figured S6 was only going to be digital.
Yeah. Did you ever play any games that required the Switch cloud processing? So there are a couple of games that came out on Switch that required cloud processing to run. Control and the Kingdom Hearts collection.
I remember that. No, I never tried them. I knew I was never going to try them.
Bad.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I have additional context to be wary of games that require digital excessive fucking bit rate utilization.
You know what's another one, Cryptic? That's like that. Raven Watch, also a great co-op.
Daemon X Machina is good. That game's on PC. Play it there.
Hey, this is Joseph Forrest from Hades.
Is that the sequel though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like this is an appropriate place for this.
Oh, absolutely.
I
mean,
want this game to launch and
about
have the game share feature.
You know why this game? Oh, it already has the game share feature already.
No, I'm saying the Switch 2 game share feature. So only one of us has to buy it.
Dude, I can imagine it won't be any different from how it is now on release. Like even now, like
oh right, it does have a share feature, doesn't it?
It already has the share feature. Yeah,
that's cool. I could give a
that
fuck
game,
less about
that
EA
game right
Sports.
there. Perfect for even couch co-op because you can both just sit down and play.
I do,
or you
want
can
to
play with
it.
a buddy online. I too. I want to play. I mean, I
want it to be less expensive.
What is it? A Way Out?
EA Sports. It's in the game.
I didn't play. What was his other one?
Tried the demo for RE7 on Switch and I was surprised that how it ran, but goddamn, that short time was shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Which one's the one? What's the other one that he did?
Give us the Mass Effect trilogy on Switch 2. Do you really want to have to deal with Mass Effect 2 and 3's combat on a console running at 20 frames a second? It might be able to handle it. It might be able to handle it.
Like why?
Oh,
why Legacy?
I could give a fuck less about the Hogwarts Legacy. In fact, fuck Hogwarts Legacy so bad. Go buy the TTRPG for Trans Lives that is being put on with the Humble Bundle. It's $5, and there's a bunch of shit there. Give money to a good cause. Fuck. What's her name? The Harry Potter writer. J.K. Rowling.
I loved Tony Hawk games growing up. So
Oh, dude.
this is cool too. They added a SpongeBob little DLC.
Yeah. It's fun.
Hello,
I'm
this
always
is
down for
Christian
Tony
Elberdam
Hawk. Tony
from
Hawk's
IO
always a good
Interactive.
time, except for that one time where they're
We're
like, hey,
bringing
this is
our
an online-only
flagship
game,
title,
and the servers went down 2 weeks
Hitman:
after we
World of
launched it.
Assassination to Nintendo
Rip.
Switch 2.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, yeah, didn't do very well.
Best assassin
That was absolutely trashy.
So I'm less hype about this because I'm a little over Hitman. I am more hype that they have James Bond fucking
Oh yeah, the James Bond
project,
will release on the same day.
the 007
little
project.
feature for here. Yeah.
Plus, we are excited to bring
You know, it makes sense that these guys would be making a James Bond movie. I mean, a game. Because it's like Agent 47 is practically James
I
Bond
don't know,
already.
Falcon, with the way not Absolution, fucking the combination, like, episodic one ran, I could see it running on even the regular Switch at, like, 720p. Also, the 007 game was announced years ago, but never showed anything. It still haven't. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, they didn't even show anything here. They just actually just said, hey.
Yeah, but if they make a thing about the fact that it's a project that exists, here's something that I'm flipping out about. Hey,
honestly,
guys, if you haven't played Bravely
FF9.
Default, go fucking play Bravely Default.
I had honestly thought this was FF9 when I first saw that. I was
How
like,
insulting to Bravely Default.
whoa. I was like, whoa, is that Garnet? But then when like I actually saw the model, like
kind
up front,
of a
I was
little
like,
bit actually.
I was like, oh no, that's not her. And then I was like, oh, it's Bravely Default.
Bravely Default, Where the Fairy Flies, is a amazing game, and I'm not gonna talk about its story because it's kind of inherently spoilery. But hey, do you like Final Fantasy? Do you like Tales of Final Fantasy? Do you like all the old shit? This game is very good.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that it was locked to the 3DS, which is dead hardware, was tragic. And now that you can play it,
Yakuza 0 director's cut. Like what more are they gonna add to
the
this?
cut was to the frame rate.
I mean, clearly.
It's fine. No, it really isn't. Honestly, the fact that these games ran
Majima!
But now it's really the Majima Anywhere system because you can carry your Switch 2 anywhere.
Clearly. And you can play as Majima during any Majimas anywhere, making it double the Majima.
Take a look.
Can't have too much of a good thing.
I made that up, but that's not true. Imagine you can play as Majima and he just shows up everywhere.
I mean,
When the Zonai, who descended from the heavens,
so
joined hands
I
with
have
the
problems
Holy
with this
Spirit who dwelled on
game,
the surface.
like with what this game
Their
is, because it
union
doesn't
led to a
matter.
great and prosperous kingdom.
This is literally just telling you the before story and why everyone's
Well, no, it's not
dead
even the
and
before
different.
story. It's a side story that we know the end result of, because
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom
To
happened.
vanquish this evil.
No, you know what this is?
Future generations
This is just
will
Nintendo listening to the fans that
This is
wanted
them
to see
saying
the
like,
actual
hey,
war.
we know that you don't want to buy another Hyrule Warriors game unless you know it works, so here's another Hyrule Warriors game so that you can forget about Age of Calamity.
Yeah, because you already know how this ends. Literally everyone died.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
This is just them. This is just them giving fans the chance to see how everything played out.
it's an excuse to have Hyrule Warriors combat with a bunch of cool character designs that you never get to fucking interact with in the actual game,
Yeah.
so that's cool. I'm fine with that. That's what Warriors
You get
games
to-
are for.
You get to play as the Goat Man.
If this runs at a stable 4 to 5 frames per second, I'll be fine.
If.
Only if. If this does not run at a locked 30 or more, it's not getting my money.
There better be a demo that I can try this.
Oh yeah.
And if that demo
There should
runs
be a
less
benchmark like fucking Monster Hunter.
like Wilds, yeah.
Yeah.
You know they're gonna have to put a demo out for that.
was Hyrule Warriors.
Because I can't imagine Age of
Yeah.
Calamity did that successful.
It's being developed by Koei
No,
Tecmo
because it
Games.
got absolutely
support
shit
from
shilled
Nintendo.
by fucking all of the critics
you're
because
looking
they're like,
for
hey, this game
untold
runs at
stories of
16
imprisonment.
frames a second on average.
which took place in Hyrule long ago.
It's bad.
And now, some news about Nintendo Switch Online.
Yes.
You can
This was my
continue to
favorite
enjoy
part.
Nintendo
Well, one of
Switch
my favorite
Online
parts,
on
but it was
Switch
up there.
2.
Hey guys, do you know that thing that you like to
Switch
pay money
Online
for?
Plus
Would you like to
expansion pack.
justify the fact that you're paying more money
You
for
can
it?
enjoy a new membership benefit exclusively.
Here you
on
go.
You knew they were going to raise the
Please
price
take a look at
with this announcement here.
Well, it would cost you $400 to buy a physical copy of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, so I guess you're
Yeah.
technically saving money.
Plus expansion pack will be getting a
Except
This
the-
right
the
here,
Dolphin,
like,
emulator is
as
fine.
soon as I heard, because I was getting ready, right, for work, and as soon as I heard the, I fucking lost it. I was like, no shot. And then I started looking around. I was like, oh, it's true.
I also want that
Oh,
controller
I want that
back in.
controller.
Do you have
It
to be
reminds
an
me of the
active
Wayfair.
member? You have to have an active subscription to pre-order it, right?
No.
I thought
I mean,
it was
it depends.
exclusive to Nintendo Online members.
This right here.
Motherfucking Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube, where Link is there.
Best version. The
Best version.
of them.
Fuck Spawn. We don't need
And
no
Hey
Spawn
Hachi was just
here.
a last minute throw in for the PS2, but
Heihachi's
this-
fine.
this was the best version. And then this. I'm
Oh,
finally
hey
getting
guys, look.
F-Zero GX.
Nintendo
like,
finally put F-Zero on a modern console.
like they gave me F-Zero 99 and I was like, okay. Then there's F-Zero on the 64 online.
Fuck.
So I was like, oh, F-Zero. Like, just give me a new F-Zero.
We're
for the
never
love of
getting a
God.
new F-Zero.
Like, Sega drops this absolute banger, and then it just
On the
disappears.
Xbox Soul Calibur 2, but I got the GameCube version years earlier, or later. I, over time, have owned every version of Soul Calibur 2, because Soul Calibur 2 is
I never
worth...
got the Xbox version. I only had the PS2 and the GameCube version. And then the big reveal at
It's
the
fine,
end of like
Spawn
what
sucks.
the rest of the titles you got
Motherfucking
Sunshine,
XD Gale of
Path of
Darkness, Path of Radiance,
Darkness.
Luigi's
Do you
Mansion,
know how much I
Pokemon
played Super
Coliseum.
Strikers, Luigi's Mansion, Chibi Robo, and Coliseum? I absolutely loved all of those games. Oh, Chibi Robo I never played.
Available for
But I've seen
Nintendo
it.
Switch Online Plus expansion pack members. See, you can only
I've
pre-order this
seen
fucking
it.
controller if you're paying them money.
Okay. Well, then yeah, that makes sense.
No Eternal Darkness though, not yet, Valkyne. Not yet.
You know they're gonna add. I mean, those are just obviously the start.
They're gonna see that they didn't get my money day one, and they're gonna be like, "All right, press the button."
Yeah.
Because guess what? You want to know the one thing Dolphin emulates fucking horribly, aside from Wii games?
Whether you're familiar
Eternal
with
Darkness.
or haven't played them before,
I mean, I'm already
you're
an
looking
online member, so
forward to
it
Nintendo
really doesn't
games,
matter. I mean,
Nintendo classics.
Let me
I just
represent
can't wait for this.
the
man.
pores, I
Continue to play
guess.
select games from the system
It's only
shown
$50
here
bucks on the
Nintendo
Switch.
2. Okay.
Still cheaper than the
$60
other
a
one.
year.
From our publishing and development
On top of
Oh,
everything
60
else.
bucks. Well, if
Had
it's
the
gone up now,
Pokemon
then
XD
yeah.
Gale of Darkness GameCube. Jay, I also had that GameCube.
This was also a weird.
This is a big announcement. This is money.
I wasn't not expecting this. Like 3 and 4 are dropping on Switch.
I was kind of expecting this. But the fact that it is happening all at the same time is crazy.
Yeah, like I knew people that were all about this. Like, I've never played these. I played Undertale.
I played
I never
chapter
played
1
Deltarune.
of Deltarune. I have not gone back to it, and I have forgotten most of what the deal is. But the problem is that Undertale's fucking fan base is so toxic that you can't engage with the thing if you're not like a weird Tumblr nepo baby.
Oh no, I can. I can enjoy it without having.
Oh no,
to
I can
interact
enjoy it.
with-
You just
with
can't
their
interact
friends.
with it online. Here's the
And
worst
then this
part of this
fucking
direct.
guy-
Look at this fucking clown ass motherfucker wearing 2 different goddamn patterns.
Borderlands is back.
Is it though? Like, is it back? Because
I mean, the
Nobody
gameplay looks
asked for
fine.
nobody asked for this.
Randy Pitchford aside, Borderlands 4 looks better than 3, and that's not saying a lot, but it's more than nothing. He's wearing 2 different kinds of paisley, like, dog, what are you doing?
I can't.
Valkyne, you're 100% right. Fuck Randy Pitchford.
I just can't. Like, my experience with Borderlands ended with Borderlands 2. Me, Connor, our boy Brad and Jay, we played the hell out of that. All the DLC.
I ran that game into the ground. I played 6 completionist playthroughs of Borderlands 2 on different consoles.
Once we had completed everything as best as we could, and the game was like, that was it. I was like, I'm done with the game.
Also,
like,
hey guys, you want to play Civ 7? Let's book a flight that'll take 15 hours, and we'll get 1 game in.
Hell yeah.
We'll just have to recharge the Switch 2 battery 5 times.
I wonder how long that battery is gonna last.
Oh, that's the real. That is the real fucking question, because the biggest complaint I have about the Steam Deck is that depending on what game you're playing, the battery ranges from 2 hours to 7 hours.
They got rid of the OLED screen for the handheld. And they put an LCD screen.
I'm gonna be real. If they did a almost 8-inch OLED screen, it would have cost another $150. And I don't care enough. I would gladly leave my Switch in its dock so that I can play it at 4K.
Or at least I wish they would do a model that's LCD and then another model, maybe whatever, that does have the OLED.
You can't though, because the second you put in model variances, you have performance problems across the board with fucking games. That we've seen this with the Xbox Series S and X. We've seen this with the fucking various PS5s.
But that's just a screen. That has nothing to do with the performance itself. The screen is just projecting a better image, a better range of colors.
The OLED will eat more of that battery quicker.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm hyped for this. Not necessarily on Switch, but I'm hyped for it. I don't know how it's gonna work, but
I don't know if I like this new 3D art style.
I'm also a little, maybe a little iffy on it, especially because you have absolutely no depth of field perception from that angle.
Yeah.
And it looks like a VR game a little bit.
It looks a little weird from there. This is what I want to.
Is this from
Jay, you want the OLED screen, or are we talking about that game?
Are you talking about Enter the Gungeon 2? Did you play Exit the Gungeon?
No, I heard it wasn't that great. Gungeon 2, okay.
It's a shift in perspective, like where the camera is. It's weird.
Yeah, because isn't it like a 2D side scroller type thing? You're going up and down like an elevator or something.
Basically.
So there's that.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Kemi.
Hey y'all.
Hey Kemi, how you doing? Appreciate the raid. Thanks for coming on in. Welcome everyone. We're just watching the Nintendo Direct. We're kind of having our discussions and whatnot with what we liked, what impressed us. But also, let me do this for you. What's up, Eric? How you doing, man? Give the shout out to the old girl, Kemi. I truly appreciate the raid. Thank you very much. Don't worry. I was watching you play Sonic.
Sonic.
The Sonic.
I was about to get something to eat.
Nice. This was also expected. Remake being on the Switch too.
I have no idea how well that's gonna run.
I don't think it's gonna run very well, but that's just me though. I don't expect
again.
Elden Ring. I don't expect this to run very well.
Elden Ring is gonna be a meme in how bad it runs. But this, there's a chance this will run well at a locked 30. Maybe.
Yeah. But it's so funny because it's only Remake Intergrade, not even Rebirth.
Well, I'm sure they'll finish remaking Rebirth for it. But everyone go by Bravely Default. Also, the Raido Kusunoha.
I love this. That they just threw Silk Song
hey, look, there's exactly 3.5 seconds of fucking Silk Song quote-unquote gameplay.
Just said, oh, here you go. Enjoy, everyone.
Also, they said 2025, so if it doesn't come out in 2025, officially dead forever.
You know what that says? Oh, here's just enjoy just the tip. There you go. That's all you get. And
I'm pretty sure that's old footage too.
Yeah, it probably is. Wild Hearts definitely was a fun ass game.
Maybe it'll be better in the new version.
Maybe
I'll have people to play.
One can only hope. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 makes sense.
I'm alright with it.
Because the first one did amazing. I'm still interested in this game too.
It's just going to be the beat 'em up combos. That's not coming out. That game's not coming out. Ubisoft is going to go under before that game comes out. That's my fucking hot take.
Yeah, Ubisoft isn't out. They are struggling.
They're
I don't
doing
care how
another
great-
Nobunaga's ambition.
Yeah,
Again.
Nobunaga has a lot of ambition, Connor. Don't
He's
you
got
understand?
all the ambition. He's got
He
ambition
needs to
on
keep
every
conquering
console.
Japan over and over.
That was a PS4 game.
Jesus.
Shadow Labyrinth looks cool. Raito fucking
Raito-
remaster and
Raito
Mystery of the Soulless
remastered.
Army. Everybody buy this game so that we can get fucking a demon summoner fucking
Demon
or devil
summoner.
summoner fucking game. Digital Devil Stories. all of it.
Reanimal was dope too. I want to try Reanimal because I barely Well,
I
actually,
need to
it's
see
funny.
real
I never,
gameplay before I do.
I had never played the Little Nightmares games until I saw Kemi playing them. I didn't know anything much about them, but after seeing her like go through them, I was like, these guys are pretty sick.
I played the first one.
And now I actively went back to play them myself. And watching Reanimal, I was like, that is just Little Nightmares. But
Yep.
you know, it's from some of the ex devs that no longer work there.
We've shown a lot of games so far. The
This
next game
man.
will be the last from our publishing and development partners. Please take a
This one got me hyped though. I ain't gonna lie, this one got me so goddamn hyped, bro.
Oh, you mean we have Bloodborne at home? And
Yes.
home is Switch?
Yes.
I'm gonna be real, man. That clip from Scary Movie is really the only way to express how to feel about it. Where it's, oh my god, it's Godzilla, except it's not Godzilla because international copyright law requires it to not be. We should run from it similarly as though it were Godzilla.
Even though it's not.
This is Bloodborne 2. Sony can go fuck itself. Just as a whole.
Oh yeah.
I don't care anymore. You made me wait 10 years, and you made fucking FromSoft wait 10 years.
It's insane.
You didn't
like,
even get
hearing
Blue
all the-
Point to
all the-
make a remake of it. God damn.
like it's insane hearing how like Miyazaki wanted to do stuff with the Bloodborne series,
But the IP is owned by
But
Sony,
just-
and Sony
but Sony
exists
just
to sit
refused
on
to do
intellectual
anything.
property rights.
And it's funny because I was watching Maximilian when he was doing this, and he was explaining. He's like, a lot of like
Fucking
what's
mic
been
drop
coming
fucking
out.
From Software.
Yeah. Oh, when I saw the From Software, I was like, I lost my shit. I was like, is this really the Bloodborne 2? But then I started looking around, like as I
Is
started
this
watching, I was
really
like,
the
no,
Bloodborne 2? Korowa Hato
Is this
desu?
really?
It's like From
And
Software
and
making
it's
Lies of
now
P2.
very apparent how much Jim Ryan like fucked over everyone at PlayStation after the PlayStation 4.
So there's
He was so far up his own ass. Like when you really think about, or like you really hear all the stories that came out after his retirement.
yeah.
I was just like, man, this man really screwed them out of a lot of things.
There's a lot of stuff that has not been super well expanded upon. Look at this fucking Yoko Taro
Yeah.
creature.
Yeah, I really thought that was Emil.
Emil. Nah.
I really thought that was him. And
I
this
wish.
is sick. I love this.
That
whole
shot
setting.
feels like Night Rain so hard. Just the jump and drop.
You know what this game very feels like? Because obviously I know this game has been in development for a few years.
Yeah.
Look at these twinks right here. This feels like
Castlevania,
like-
Lords of
like-
Shadow too, but good.
Yes. I was gonna say this feels like a response to the Lies of P.
So
Like, this is from
I do think
software-
that's the case with a lot of its character design. There's definitely a lot of
Yeah.
like classic. Here's what we could do with more Bloodborne, but also
Because they went deep into the Victorian design.
Yeah.
More than they did
Well,
in
I think
Bloodborne.
that
I feel
the
like
regular human costume design really takes a lot of notes from Lies of P more than it does anything from Bloodborne
Yeah.
proper.
oh, absolutely.
The monster design, obviously, the other way around, but fucking
Even the steampunk like mechanic, like how they are embracing steampunk. I'm like, that is very Lies of P.
Look at this Long John wearing fucking
Yeah,
axe
this guy
wielding
showed up
motherfucker.
literally in his jams, put on a helmet, and said, "All right, let's do this."
Weird,
Night
rude,
Ranger is about to
rad.
be the best game ever made. It literally everything I prayed for and wished for. I
Oh,
want
it's got
to try Night Rain.
wings. It's a
it's a
flying
rat with wings.
I didn't see.
It's not a bat.
I watched this thing
not
on
a
my fucking
bat.
phone, man. I didn't see that detail.
It's a rat with wings.
From software.
Night Rain about to be the best game ever made. Literally everything I've heard and wished for. I mean,
Lords of Shadow 1, I will take. Lords of Shadow 2, not so much. I didn't like.
Those games were
like
ass in a really good way, though.
That's all from our publishing and development.
1 was still very.
They're like
very
the
good.
best 6 out of 10 you'll ever play.
As well as our publishing and
I think I would give Lords of Shadow 1.
No, I'm talking about 2.
7 close to an 8.
I'm talking
yeah.
about 2. Yeah, 1 probably deserves like a 7.5.
In addition to what you saw today, our partners are working on many games.
Even with the
coming to
DLC
Nintendo
that
Switch 2.
I totally forgot that it had,
We'll showcase
that like
more games
further
in the
explained
future,
the
so we hope
story
you're looking
into
forward to it.
leading into 2, and I was like, holy shit, like this is actually really good. And then I got 2, and I was just like, ugh, you took everything 1 set up and just didn't give that to me.
I mean, yeah.
It was like all these stealth sections, I was like, unneeded.
You know,
And then you got this guy over here.
an unappreciated
Senior.
Castlevania game is that fucking that fighting game on the Wii with the Death Note artist.
Oh, Castlevania Judgment.
Yeah.
That game, you know honestly, I think after seeing so much of it and I like sitting on that game after so many years, you know what I think killed that game was the lineup. The roster lineup, I feel should have just
I think
been
the
like.
fact that it was a fighting game on the Wii was
But
what
that
killed
too,
it.
but for me personally, I'm like that roster lineup was very lacking.
Yeah,
Like you could have given me an all Belmont lineup and I would have been
Well,
sick.
I'm sure if it was successful enough to warrant a sequel, it would have.
But they threw in characters that I'm like, why are we using this character?
I don't know, man. Take a look at that Hunter x Hunter game coming out. It's ass. Bad lineup, bad character choice. Very small character
It's like the
limit.
Kill Kill fighting game not from a few years ago.
Yeah, but they ran out of funding. Also,
Good
the
old
fact that there's an
Kirby.
Air Ride sequel is amazing.
Air Riders. That's gonna be a fun ass game too. You already know that's gonna be a fun ass game.
You know,
You got your
why?
boy.
Because right here.
Masahiro yeah, because he's no longer fucking making Smash Brothers. Sakurai's finally freed. He's like,
He doesn't
I
have
can
to
finally make
sacrifice
something.
his life
Kirby
essence
Air
into the
Ride,
fucking
which originally released on the
fucking
Nintendo GameCube
cultist
system over 20 years
He
ago.
no longer has
station
to
that is
work every
Smash Bros.
miracle
We hope
across
you're
the
looking forward to
gaming
Kirby Air
industry to
Riders,
get the rights to
directed
use a
by Masahiro
character.
Sakurai. Next is our last trailer for today. Please take a look.
This was also another one I'm excited for because I've been wanting a brand new game franchise for years.
the Donkey Kong.
I love Donkey Kong 64. I know a lot of people trash on it. I love that game.
It's a good game. It's an alright game. It's a Donkey Kong
And
game.
seeing this, I'm just like,
I'm glad that Donkey's getting the spotlight, man. He's been fucking put into party
Like,
games for the last like
it's another
10
like
years.
solo outing.
And sure, like Tropical Freeze was good, but that was like 2013.
Yeah. Also, what's interesting, I like that they went back to his retro look because this is more of his like 80s look.
Yeah, a little bit.
I just want to know who the little rock buddy on him is.
It's super formulaic though. Like they're obviously
Yeah.
going for a different dynamic than Odyssey, but it's like, oh, here is this mascot character that gives him powers outside of what his normal ability to do shit would be, and it's like we're gonna build the gameplay around it. The fucking the range of destructible environment in this is so fucking impressive that even if I didn't like Donkey Kong, I would probably get this game to fuck around with it.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. I'm glad they're not just cut and pasting what Odyssey did. They're like really
No,
making
this is a
this
very
game
unique dynamic.
to attribute Donkey Kong's features, what he does.
Break shit,
Yeah,
like
and
Q,
be among like look at this. Look at this, man. Like
Fred
this is
Durst.
fucking... oh shit!
break shit.
Nah, you can break shit.
It's just one of those days.
Look at this goofy motherfucker over here.
Yeah, like the weird little geode mascot is interesting, and I appreciate a couple like callback characters, but like this is gonna be unique enough that like even if you don't like Donkey Kong, the gameplay is gonna make this game worth it for you.
Well, I'm getting this as soon as it drops. That same day release, I'm finna, me and my boys finna load up.
It's a couple months. It's like quarter.
Yeah,
start of
it's
quarter
July.
4. Or is it
It's
July?
July.
Okay, so it's end of quarter
Yeah.
3.
It's July 17th, I think.
Or it started Q3.
Bonanza.
Bananas.
Why is everyone pronouncing that wrong? It's Bonanza.
I know it's Bonanza, but he's Donkey Kong and banana.
I really wish they would have called him
Bananaza.
Bananaza. Yeah.
Dumb as
I
fuck.
really wish they would have called it Bananaza.
Oh man, they would. You know what? Listen, we live in a world where Mario and Luigi Brothership came out. They could have.
I want to play that game actually. I forgot it came out, and
I do
want
too,
to
but
play
I
it.
don't want all the yaoi people to come and attack me.
We hope you're looking forward to it.
You know, that's a risk you got to take
Thank you
sometimes.
for watching so far.
Hi, arigatou gozaimasu.
To recap, Nintendo Switch 2 launches on June 5th.
And it's going to
Can't
be
wait for that.
$450.
Pre-order start next Wednesday.
Nintendo Switch 2,
Yeah, good luck
as well as
on any
a
retail
bundle that
site.
includes a digital version of Mario Kart World.
No, I'm sure they're
Good luck
you'll
on
be able
any
to.
retail site for that version.
For more details, please
Which
check
one?
the
The base
official
or the one
The
with the
one that
combo?
comes with fucking
goes live
Mario
later
Kart.
today.
We've covered
And this is
a
a
lot
digital
of
version too. It's
Yeah.
not like it's the
All we
physical
have to
game.
share.
So
Well, it depends
even
on-
if you don't get that one, you get just the console one. You just always go buy the game.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I have completely lost faith in the online infrastructure
We
of retail
appreciate you
sites,
joining us today.
like since
Fair.
the PlayStation debacle.
That is absolutely fair because that PlayStation 5 initial release was
I
Was
had
something.
to talk down a scalper, so I only paid $550 for my fucking $500 console.
I just waited.
Yeah, but I wanted to play
I
Elden
had
Ring.
I had waited enough that I was
But all
like, well, I
these
could just
garms.
get from you. Right? There's a Treehouse stream tomorrow and
Fuck.
Friday.
Give me a day, man. Let me get to the Monster Hunter update. Damn.
No. Nintendo did that purposely. They knew. They knew. But yeah, dude, I am very impressed with what was shown today.
I
That
mean, when was the
I
last
was-
time we had this much shit announced in a single bit?
In a single direct. When the Switch was announced.
Well, no. I mean, there was definitely at least one after that.
Oh.
I think probably the Switch OLED, because they announced a whole bunch of games around
Probably.
that time, too.
Yeah. But it's insane, like, seeing everything. They went full in on this. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They went full in, and I'm all
It's a
about it.
console launch. They have to.
I want this so bad. I can't wait for the Nintendo GameCube.
I want to throw away all
drop.
of my money. All
Oh, I've already,
5
like,
shekels.
It's already like funny. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna run out my credit card and then I'll pay it off. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pre-order the hell out of it.
It's a good thing I don't have student loan payments. Oh, wait, no, I do.
No, couldn't be me. Couldn't. I am gonna be sitting there as soon as next. I'll make call off of work so I could just sit at home try to pre-order
I'll
this.
quit
mother-
my job and fucking play fucking Donkey Kong. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, I'm telling you, Donkey Kong finna go hard in the paint. I wish the GameCube thing was purchasable separately without having to get the N64. Yeah, like if it was just like you could purchase them like per console.
If they had like a la
In a way.
carte fucking pricing, that would be interesting. Like, I don't particularly give a fuck about NES emulation, mostly because that's one of the easiest fucking things to emulate. So
Well, all of these
give
are
me
easy to
$5 back
emulate.
and take that away.
The ones I honestly don't care for the Sega Genesis and all that. I'm like, I didn't really grow up with Sega like that. Like my cousins had the Sega console, so I would play whenever.
Yeah, I was lucky
I would
enough to be
see
too poor
them.
to be a Sega kid.
But I never really like got into the Sega Genesis, Sega like that. So I didn't. Those are two I wish I could just like boop, remove.
I mean, but what did you really
everything
miss out
else-
on? Fucking thinking Shenmue was good?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? Shenmue is good.
No. Shenmue was never good.
Ah, come on, Connor. It was fun.
Feel free to fight me on that.
It's Shenmue. It's fun.
It's fun, but like it was completely replaced by fucking Yakuza.
Yakuza, yeah, no.
Like utterly.
And then Shenmue 3 released, and
All right, yeah, the Sonic games were good, but they've also been ported to every console since the fall
Yeah.
of Sega as a console
fall of
maker.
Sega as a console. Yeah.
And Earthworm Jim. Okay, there's a good game that again also got ported to every other console that existed, mostly Xbox.
But yeah, after seeing that, like my takeaway with it, I'm like, okay, will it live up to everything that they announced?
No, it never does. No, I'm just being a shit. I think that they would not have put so much fucking pizzazz into this presentation if they were not extremely confident that their infrastructure is going to be able to handle this shit day one. And Nintendo has been wrong about that before, but I think
that's a lot of the time that they probably took towards the development of the Switch 2. I think a good amount of that time was spent making a whole new infrastructure for the online.
Well, it wasn't just the actual console production that was put.
If you really look, there's a lot of online features for this. Like, you got the game capture, which is online. You have the actual online plays for Mario Kart and Mario Party. Then you have the game chat, that feature. So I'm like, they went in on a lot of their online features.
That feature in particular is so fucking bonkers to me, because what you're doing, regardless of how low the frame rate is, because again, this is a mock-up, this is not actual hardware working. But
of course,
regardless of how low that frame rate is, you're still uploading video. And that's like, you have your webcam alongside your audio, alongside your gameplay. You're essentially streaming.
Yeah.
You are streaming. It's not even essential.
You are.
It's just,
you are streaming.
It's like what is the upload bitrate expectation for how their servers are able to handle shit? Because if we are dropping frames on OBS right now with 2 PNGs and a YouTube video, how the fuck is Nintendo's online infrastructure going to fucking support that for multiple people? And the thing is, you don't have to be playing the same game. If you're in game chat, you can all be playing different shit that requires different amounts of processing power from the system. What did they do to improve their online infrastructure that you can have a 4-way simul stream as a casual
while you're playing too? While you are
playing a game,
you can have 4 other people share
charge for the service to buy servers. I mean, I feel like they already kind of have when they bumped up fucking Nintendo Online from $20 to $60, because that did happen like 3 years ago.
It's $50.
It's $59.99, isn't it?
Maybe now, but when it originally dropped, it went from 20 to 50.
Okay, well, it's 60 now.
I think they may have raised it. And
they're charging for gamified air and the Dolphin emulator. Like, what?
Well, obviously.
Tell me I'm wrong.
That's the other thing. It's like, a lot of the emulators that they have, I'm pretty sure there's already better ones that people have been using for years. Dolphin in particular has
completely fair. This is also the company that that was Capcom, but still, like, I don't know how confident they can be so confident in this service.
And first off, Dolphin does both consoles. I think a lot of people don't really realize that. I'm like, no, it does both.
It's both. So. It does some of them a lot worse than others, but it's
you know they can't all be perfect. Okay, there's gonna be some hindrances.
So they did confirm digital games on Switch will work. Okay, so here's another thing that they really kind of failed to bring up super effectively. There's a bit in the middle of the Direct that says that breaks down the quote-unquote 3 types of games that exist on the Switch 2. So the 3 types of games that exist on the Switch 2 are Nintendo Switch 2 games that exist in physical and digital format for the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware. The next type of game that exists are games that will receive a Nintendo Switch 2 edition that will either have a digital bump with its Nintendo Switch 2 edition upgrade, or I don't know if there's going to be like a full digital version that'll be downloadable separately. Like, there's a Switch 2 SKU on the Nintendo eShop for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't know. Maybe they'll bring that up, but that is the subcategory of other game. The last subcategory of game are Nintendo Switch games that are supported.
Yeah.
So basically, they have inferred that anything with a physical copy will be supported, but they have not.
Prior to this, they did say like the majority of the Switch's library.
That
would be
asterisk
compatible.
of some games will not be supported has never been clarified, though, and they still haven't.
Yeah.
They still have not
they
put out a
haven't
list
said
of
that.
things. Like, do I think that some dreck that came from the Steam store eventually approved for the Nintendo eShop, like fucking Hentai versus Evil, is going to be ported? Probably fucking not.
Hell yeah.
Probably be a new Switch Switch 2 port of that game. The point being, they have not specified what games are or are not supported. They're just basically they have inferred if you have a physical copy, it will probably be fucking supported. But there are going to be digital games from the Nintendo Switch eShop that are straight ports that you will be able to transfer and download to your Switch 2. They have not specified which ones will not, though.
Well, yeah, because even then they already said too, like if you're going from your Switch to Switch 2, you can do the transfer data.
Yeah,
from
you can do the
Switch
console
to the
transfer
Switch.
like you were upgrading
Everything's
your Switch.
gonna move over. So I can imagine like your old games, because the cartridge is the same,
except for the things that don't.
The Switch 2 is just a red cartridge.
Also, I own mostly digital games, not all the physical, so I want my Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, 3 port to... no, I'm right there with you. I've got, like,
I'll
bought
tell you right
all
now,
of Xenoblade on
more than positive.
For Switch
More
1.
than positive, all the Xenoblade games are going to be backwards compatible. I highly doubt they would keep that to the Switch, especially since they just released Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah, my assumption is
why
that
would they-
anything
why would they keep
Nintendo
it on the
first
Switch?
party is going to be backwards supported. The only things I can see not transferring over are third-party digital exclusives that did not originate on the console.
I could imagine. Yeah, that sounds about right. I imagine most of their first party games, or if not every one of the Nintendo's Switch's first party games, are all going to be backwards, and that includes like their the companies they own too. Like,
Unless they specifically want to fuck over a particular fan base.
You know,
which I would not put it past them. I'm a Fire
Emblem fan. Can we get?
Oh, that's another Warriors game that I'm looking forward to having a double-digit frame rate. Is Fire Emblem Warriors 2.
I'm glad. I am so glad Path of Radiance is on the GameCube Nintendo lineup. But you know which other one I wish? But obviously it's on a different console. I wish was on
Radiant Dawn.
Radiant Dawn.
Day
Yes,
one.
I want Radiant Dawn. I wish they would have done Radiant Dawn on the GameCube as well, because it being on the Wii definitely hurt it.
It sold the system for me.
Well, yeah, but that's because you're already a fan of Fire.
I was a very young lad when I forced my parents to get me that game, even though it was already expensive.
But yeah, because did you even play Engage? I got it, and I
to the
had no interest,
3/4 mark of the first roundabout of the map, and then the difficulty spike went up 50%, and I did not evenly distribute my experience, so I did not finish that game.
See, Cryptic, that's fair. I totally understand that. If if everything that everything that you have is confirmed for being Switch 2 compatible, yeah, definitely would trade in the Switch. My only thing is
I don't see a reason to use the original hardware.
I have the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Switch, and I'm like,
as do I. So it's gonna sit
would
here
I really
and look
want
pretty.
to trade it in? Yeah, see, it's like, would I want to actually trade it in, or would I sell it
My
to someone
trophy
who
wife
wants
of
it,
portable consoles?
and then use whatever I get from that sale to just put towards the Switch too? Or I could just keep it.
The real question is going to be who's going to pay
Legend of Zelda.
what that shit is worth when the Switch 2 is on the horizon.
Well, you never know, because there are people who are just straight up collectors. There are people who want,
but also
variants,
it's open,
you know?
so they'll try to run you down. I'm just being
I'm not
because
saying
I've had a really bad experience with selling shit.
See, that's the thing. I would totally. I already know that. I've sold plenty of like stuff, collectors like that, whether it's opened or unopened.
Yeah.
of course, it being already used.
I had to
obviously
pay
some of
bills,
the
which is
value
why I
has
no
gone
longer
down.
have my Pikachu 3DS XL.
You know, that one hurts. That one
The
hurts.
one I regret is the Persona one, because that one has gotten more. The price on that has shot the
Which
fuck
one?
up.
Your
So
Persona 3DS?
yeah, the
Rare.
Shadow of the Labyrinth special edition that has the I am thou art I fucking Persona card on the front.
Rip.
I did get a couple $100 more than what I paid for it, but still.
Yeah, but it's the fact of the matter.
Fuck
is you could have still
capitalism
had
that
it.
I have to give away the things I care about for rent.
Sometimes. Oh, that was a wonderful thing though. Dude, I think that's like my 4th or 5th time watching the direct today.
That's crazy.
Just I honestly I don't have a problem with it. I am that excited about it that I'm willing to just rewatch it because it just gets me even more hype